so that I don't have to do it later.
I'm finishing up reading the books that we're going to review this week.
No.
Almost done. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the pre-show. It's just me and Taylor again. As Taylor put it, the worst kind of show. It's true.
I mean, the show's just going to be dripping with our open contempt for one another, you know?
Well, I don't try to open it, you know? I try to keep it in check. I try to make sure that...
I try too, but there's only so much you can do when you're talking about this much contempt.
I know. I don't know what's up with Adam. Let's talk about that for a second. Damn it.
I don't know. I just wish he'd drop us a message letting us know.
Yeah, just let us know how are things, how are trips. Maybe he's working or something. You know?
Beats me.
That shouldn't be an excuse. You gotta have some priorities.
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck are you doing?
What the fuck are you doing working at a time like this? It was an okay week for comics. We'll do segment 1, talk about what we did this week. I got a lot of news, some Substack, some lawsuits, a lot of Substack. The dinosaur Justice League thing.
Yeah, it's a shame David's not here for that one.
Oh, fuck him.
Actually, no, we would never get through it.
We would never
David
shut
was
up
here
about
for
it. We got more Judgment Day.
He'd been giving us all like the, like the nitty gritty
the
stuff.
Allosaurus. The Nerdosaurus. What else? Book of Boba Fett.
Oh, you mean Mandalorian?
Yeah, Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm entertained. We'll talk about it.
No, I mean, I like it. Yeah, we'll talk about it.
There's problems. There's definitely a problem. And they had to have known that they were going to have this problem. We'll mention that. What else? Ruffles. Ruffles are the food news this week. And again, moment of fucking destruction. I got my damn Grimlock already. King Grimlock wrapped up this week. The best damn Transformers comic we've had in forever. And then top 3. Anything else you want to add? Man, it was a lot of cool comics this week.
Nah, I don't need to add anything.
I think we're going to expand on the top 3 by talking about a bunch of books that I'm pretty sure you read, but what?
Well, maybe a few honorable mentions or something. I don't know.
I got a lot of honorable mentions for sure. All right, yeah, nothing else. Kind of a shitty week, slow week, but some good comics. All right, let's just do the damn thing. I don't even know which intro I picked.
God damn it, Leroy.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like you should save that one for when the bullies are on.
I know. I should have dropped him the link in the message. I always forget to do it until I'm doing the show, and then it's like, oh, no, I want to just...
You fool.
No. I have to question myself. They're always busy anyway. They got lives.
Yep, true.
It's another episode of this Geek and Comics Outright Geekery's comic book shit talk show.
Shit talk show.
It's just Gomer and Taylor. We're going to change it to Gomer and Taylor show.
Yeah, might as well at this point.
No shit. What's going on, bro? Anything? Nothing?
Not really. I did go see that 355 movie this week.
What is that?
It's that movie about spies. Like the big thing is supposed to be like it's an all-female spy team.
Oh,
it's got like Jessica Chastain and
oh, she's cool.
It was okay. Like it was some pretty solid fight scenes. It had that thing where like the twist that you get in the movie was really easy to see coming.
Oh yeah. Well, that's not.
But
terrible.
You know, if that's not a deal breaker for you, it's a pretty solid watch
for sure. I watched Pam and Tommy first 3 episodes. Fantastic.
Oh yeah, well, both of us have Sebastian Stan in our opening here.
So it chronicles the marriage of Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee. Lily James, is awesome. Sebastian Stan is amazing in it. But when their sex tape was made public, and I mean, it's salacious, of course. You know, it feels like a tabloid, sort of. You know, like you don't really. It feels like you almost shouldn't be watching it. You know. Because it's their personal shit, but that's what it's about, you know, how their personal shit
isn't it like the
came out?
The main drama here, right, is like the human element to that rather scandalous episode from the early 90s.
But I mean, there's a bunch of other little stuff going on, like workers' rights. Like the reason the dude went and stole the sex tape is because Tommy Lee gypped him on like a bill for a job, a carpentry job. Right. And then it's like equal rights. Pamela's like fighting for rights on the set of Baywatch. That's kind of in the background. But there's also like this hypocrisy of fame sort of thing where like they didn't make money off this, but they ended up like getting more famous because of this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, the reason this became a thing was because of the internet. And that's another angle to it, you know, like this pop culture internet newness, right? Because they didn't have any other way to distribute this because it was, you know, it wasn't there. They didn't have permission to put out a sex tape of these famous people, but like famous people, right, feed off of the paparazzi, right? But then there's like this thing, this shade over it, this veil where they're supposed to be like butting heads with the paparazzi, you know? But I don't know. I'm sure they didn't want a sex tape out.
I
But they
mean, yeah.
took
I mean,
advantage.
it'll be different for like different celebrities, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm sure that there are some celebrities who fully take advantage of the paparazzi, and I'm sure there are some who legitimately despise.
And like, it probably goes back and forth, you know, depending on the day of the week. So yeah, but it's a great show. It's only 3 episodes in, but it's really good. It's fun. Let's do news. All right, some important stuff first and then fun stuff. Comic creators are filing a lawsuit saying that the comic book publisher Action Lab Entertainment, that their contracts should be null and void. 40 content creators have signed on to a proposed class action in which they allege beleaguered comic book publisher Action Lab Entertainment has fallen short of satisfying a list of contractual obligations. Basically, this boils down to the publisher shutdown, didn't communicate with the creators, didn't release books on time or at all, and they didn't promote books, all things that the publisher was obligated to do. There was another angle here that they're suing for that I think is a little bit more interesting. I mean, the other one is basically straight up, hey, no contract. You know, you violated the contract. A judge can and lawyers can easily, you know, work all that shit out. But this one I think is more impactful for the entire industry. Convention sales never appear on records, and there's no way for a creator to see what, if any, of their books were taken to a convention, which were sold, what was paid for them, etc., etc. Now that sounds like another contract thing to me. You know what I mean? Like you would have that in your contract.
I feel like there's no need for that to be like below board. I mean, I feel like it could be just part of the expected, you know, negotiations, you know.
But they called that out specifically, and I dug into it a little bit, and it turns out that, yeah, a lot of these, you know, work for hire publishers, which is, you know, most of the publishers. If you do like a Red Sonja, for example, they can slap whatever cover they want on that. They own that. They can print as many as they want, and they can go to we see them on Diamond every Monday night when we do
the it's like
show, $50.
It's like 9/10 of what they're putting out in a given week.
So is the creator not getting points off that, for lack of a better word?
No idea.
I mean, that sucks. That sucks. But yeah, that'll be interesting to see moving forward. You know, what's up with Action Lab. So there you go. I think Taylor might have dropped out.
Oh, no, I'm still here. It's just I don't have much to contribute because I never heard of Action Lab before.
Oh, yeah, they don't do much. All right, there is a book based on an animated show where the girl is like Ladybug. She's like in red with.
Oh, yeah. I think I know
they published that, and that was very popular. But most of their popular shit was like Vamp Blade, things like that, you know, like cheesecake kind of stuff. Cartoony cheesecake. All right, yeah, moving on. Substack is all up in the news again. We got a bunch of shit. Okay. There are brand new Substacks and news about Substacks that we've already known about. Okay. Grant Morrison now has a Substack. Brian K. Vaughan and Nico Hendrickson now have a Substack. Jen Bartel, Tom King, and Elsa Chartier have a Substack. Also, Carrie Randolph and Joanne Sterer And Manga-splaining. I don't know if you ever heard of Manga-splaining. That's a pretty cool podcast that does exactly what it is. So yeah, the 3 Worlds, 3 Moons, put out a book or put out some content. I got more on them in a little bit. Chip Zdarsky put the first issue of Public Domain up for free to read on Substack. So go check that out.
It's pretty appropriate, I'd say.
James Tynion is doing the same thing. He's got a little teaser up there for his next thing. Jeff Lemire's doing Tales from the Farm. Kelly Thompson has a new book called The Black Cloak, which is coming. Gandhi Cates and Ryan Stegman released the first chapter of Vanish, and Vanish, the Golden War was announced. In the Telling, which is Molly Knox Ostertag's thing, she got some cutscenes from Girl from the Sea. Some pages from that. I mean, it goes on and on.
Yeah,
dude.
It sounds like we're really starting to hit the rollout, and also sounds like they're putting in a bunch of big names still.
Oh, dude, yeah, they're adding huge names.
I mean, between Hickman and Grant Morrison and Brian K. Vaughan, you're listing some of the who's who, right?
Yeah.
Of the so-called elite writers,
It's wild, dude, to think that I don't know. There's it's all, industry angles.
Sure.
They're making more money. Good for them. I'm happy with them. But this is taking away from what would otherwise be traditional big two, or even, Image or some other, other publisher. But
I mean,
it feels like it's sort of taken away. But I don't know how much of the pie is Substack taking. It feels like obviously these creators feel like they're, getting a bigger, nut over there.
Well, at least they assume they will. Now we're in the phase of this where we see if this is going to be sustainable for them, right?
Yeah.
Like, now that the content is coming out, we will see if they will be getting enough subscriptions for them to devote their attention to this more and more. A lot of them are going all in on it. Well, I was going to say Tynion was, but that's not true. He's going to be doing that Sandman stuff for DC after all.
Exactly. And he still had some other, work at some other publishers.
And this, we think, probably had a lot to do with Hickman stepping down from being so active in the X books, but he isn't ruling out continuing to work for Marvel and DC either. So there's people who are seems like they're going to be doing this primarily, and other people who are sort of using it as a side hustle. So we're going to have to see how this shakes out, right?
I just mean, you're right. There's we just have to wait and see what the content's going to be good.
I mean, that's smart of them to put out those first things for free, right? Because that's probably the biggest challenge they face. If you put out a book for Marvel or for DC, you have an audience that is already going to be at least looking in your direction, right? With Substack, with these things that are, creator-owned, not part of an established universe, a lot of the, hardcore comic fans might be like, oh, well, Hickman's doing a book, I'll check that out. But you don't have nearly as much of an already established bankable reader base for the stuff you're putting out.
It's got to be diehard to get somebody to pay $8 a month.
So it does make sense to put out, the first taste being free here, so that you might be able to get the people to be like, oh, well, I want to read more of this.
There's other problems with the schedule. With Marvel and DC, you're getting a book every week.
Yeah.
Or every month. And that's it. That's your money. If you're paying $7 or $8 and you get a book and the extra content that they're giving, just basically a subscription blog where they're giving you, inside baseball and industry insight, behind the scenes shit, that's worth it. But they're not doing that. They're not putting out a book a month.
That's true. I mean, but actually that's something of a worrisome thought about this. I think the biggest thing that a lot of these writers might be missing in Substack is an editor, right?
Oh, well, Hickman just hired an editor.
I'm sure they do, but that's work you have to do yourself. That's more money out of your pocket in order to get the book on time, or you just go without an editor, which
you edit your shit.
Good. If you're having to do that yourself, that's a real time sink and a real hassle,
Yeah, you're just adding on to the costs. Of creating a comic, and so, is it really worth it?
Yes.
With the Substack grants, the shit that they gave people up front, I guarantee you it's worth it. But
that's probably true.
Right.
But
not all of the people on this list.
I guess the question is it sustainable? Yes. And we are in the proving time for that right now. the next few months are going to show us one way or the other, I'm sure.
Yeah, if I see a book, right, that I'm gonna end up paying $4 plus tax for anyway at the shop, when I go to the comic shop or digitally for that matter. And the subscription is only $7 or $8, and these Substacks, publishers, these Substack creators start giving me a book once a month, maybe 2 books a fucking month in some cases.
Well, if we're looking at this
That's
in
a good
cold,
deal.
it
That's a
is,
bargain.
yeah. It's like that's true for a lot of these subscription things, right? Like if you're going to use it enough to justify it, yeah, that's great. Like if you want to get like a like a subscription to like AMC or like Regal or something, you got to think, okay, am I going to see like 2 movies a month?
Yes. Or in this environment of movies, are there going to be enough movies for me to see that I give a shit about?
It's a question, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, especially during the winter, right? When they're not really rolling out the blockbusters.
Right, yeah.
Well, they don't have that problem in comics, so that's a good point in their favor. But the question still stands. If you're looking at this in cold, merciless dollars, paying like $7 or $8 a month is the equivalent of paying for 2 issues a month. Are you going to get 2 issues a month?
Or are you going to get 1 issue, maybe a month, maybe 1 issue every 2 months? But is the behind the scenes, is the extra content that these, like Stegman and Cates have like a live stream every week, members only. Is that cool?
That's nice, but I don't know that justifies me paying more in my mind. Like,
yeah,
that's neat,
it almost
but
seems like a fan club sort of
yeah.
thing. And I hate the idea that I've got to join your fucking fan club to read your comic. I kind of hate that.
And,
I don't know.
For a lot of people watching them like draw the pages or like go through like the process, that could be pretty cool, but it's not something that I would be willing to pay for.
Me. Yeah, it doesn't attract me. We did get this from Jen Bartel, so that's nice.
That's a cool cover.
Teasing that. Hopefully that leads to some like a new series, like a new Black Canary series. That'd be rad.
Yeah.
I doubt it though. The way they do these, it's probably for Music Appreciation Week or some shit.
I'm sure it is. Like maybe for Women's Month or something. I don't know.
Right. David Pepos, big news. Savage Avengers is continuing, not renumbering. It does get an all new, all different stamp. But issue number 11 has a new creative team. The biggest, baddest, most dangerous team of Avengers returns. Savage Avengers. No, I guess it is getting renumbered. Number 1. My bad.
I feel like they left off Conan with like a pretty conclusive place in that last Savage Avengers issue.
Yeah, I thought so too.
So I wonder if having Conan around has been played out at this point. That's my big concern here.
I don't know about that. I mean, it's tough to compare to, Gary Duggan doing this book, because he knew how to have fun with these characters. He knew where to place them. He knew how far to go and how, what I mean, with the silliness that he added to it. But there was also this serious take. He had a really good balance to it. It never crossed any lines. All right. So it's going to be Daredevil Elektra. Sorry, that is a spoiler. Fuck you guys. I think we pretty much knew she was always going to be Daredevil and not go back, after this event. But still, Anti-Venom, who is still Flash, as far as I know. I don't know if you read Cates' Venom run, but Flash became Anti-Venom. Whatever. Black Knight, always.
Oh, no, I completely missed that. I was actually about to ask you who's the new Anti-Venom, because I
think it's still Flash.
Okay.
Still Flash.
It was Eddie for a while, but he's obviously not Anti-Venom anymore. So
yeah, you can actually see him better here. Black Knight, who's always a blast, when he's written right. Cloak, and where Cloak goes, Dagger always follows. And then Weapon H, the most underrated character in the Marvel Universe right now, hands down. He's underused. People think he's a fucking joke. The Greg Pak created him. He was like the Hulk guy at Marvel.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of those like ideas that like, okay, so you gave Hulk Wolverine's claws. That does sound like a hokey premise.
He's fun, dude. He's fun.
I'm sure.
But. So they're going to fight their way through the Hyborian age with an evil Deathlock hot on their trail. So it feels like it's some maybe multiversal jumping around, stuff like that. But it is David Pepos and Carlos Magno. This is David Pepos's first Marvel book. I'm pretty sure you were in on the Geeks of the Square Table where you guys spoke to this guy. No?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. He did a book called Going to the Chapel, which was a whole lot of fun. He did a book called Scouts of Honor, which was terrific. And all the best of luck to him. I actually spoke to him on another show that I used to be on. That's no longer a thing. But, I mean, it's really cool to see almost in real time, these comic book creators like come up, and get their chance. And yeah, best of luck to him. I'll definitely be checking that out. Looks like a fun book, at least for an issue or two. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah, worth checking out, I suppose.
Justice League is getting all kinds of fun. 6-issue limited. The Justice League as dinosaurs.
All right, so this is one of those like a second grader pitched an idea for a comic book type of things.
Like Marvel apes, Justice League, apes.
So the question is, there's no question that this is going to be stupid and bad. But will it be fun, stupid and bad?
Exactly.
Or will it be actually bad, stupid and bad?
I think it's going to be good, stupid, bad.
I hope so.
Daniel Warren Johnson is writing it.
That's already off to a great start there, right?
Right. A 1 in 25 Mega Luster Dino Skin variant cover by Walt Simonson. I think this might be it. Isn't that Walt Simonson's work, right?
It looks like
that's Gideon's. Yeah. That's Gideon's. That's Gideon's work.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they've released that cover yet because that's a Danny Warren Johnson cover.
Yeah.
It's unmistakable. But yeah, this is gonna be a shit ton of fun. Look at that. That looks rad.
That is some
dude.
cool art for sure.
Rad. I don't give a shit how dumb this sounds, how stupid Saturday morning cartoonish in the 80s it feels. This is gonna be dope.
Okay, so yeah, this does look like initially it should be fun, stupid, bad.
Yeah. They're still doing that a little kid show where the Justice League are cars.
Oh Lord, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah. So there you go. Justice League or the Jurassic League. That drops in May. Yeah, January, April, May. Yeah.
See, this is where David would be talking our ear off about how, actually, that one's from the Cretaceous period, and
that's actually not Jurassic at all. So I don't think I'm going to be able to pick this up, guys. I'm just going to be mad.
That's your David.
I wish he was here so I could say this to him. Because you're right, he would be saying that.
It's a good thing he's not, because having listened to your uncanny David impression there, I want to be able to tell who's talking, right? Which one's the real David?
One more thing before Boba Fett, we did get word finally. Judgment Day, yes, it's proper spelling is with or without the E, the first E.
Yeah, apparently Kieran Gillen had to clarify that. But
that's what was like. And he had another tweet where was like, I can't believe this is what y'all talking about. I'm getting the 3 biggest teams in Marvel history together, and this is what y'all talking about. The E in the title.
Well, 2 out of the 3 biggest teams in Marvel history, but
I don't know.
I don't know. I think it could be fun. I mean, I'm enjoying his Eternals run. This could be cool, yeah.
Dude, the Eternals are there, okay?
Yeah.
They're going to be there. I get it. They're cool. The way they're bringing them into this and I'm sure this was just by chance, the Avengers living in a Celestial. I'm sure it wasn't their plan to eventually say, the Eternals are going to hate that. Or Aaron would be writing this.
I mean,
it's his idea.
It's a natural way to bring them in for sure. What I don't understand yet is what the X-Men have to do with it. Although we saw that thing, where they're actually or at least in the Eternals' eyes, a deviant species.
Yeah, well, and again, there was this, and I guess I should have gotten those screenshots, man. There is a what if something. What if, I don't remember, but it had a backup story that was Lost Tales of the Marvel Universe. So it is canon, where the Celestials did all their shit. And they even mention a mutant gene. They mention it in there, right? So they're kind of using that as fuel for this.
But I don't think they've used a gimmick where it's 3 teams facing off like this. So.
Ooh, you're right.
They do hero v hero every 5 years or so. So I don't know. These types of events can sometimes be a lot of fun. I enjoyed Avengers versus X-Men back in the day. Oh God, was that 10 years ago now?
Civil War 2.
Civil War was good. Lame. Civil War 2 was a good example of fucking garbage. So,
X-Men versus Inhumans was okay. It had its moments at least. I really like the Inhumans, at least the comic book version, but they are never coming back. They're done. They're over. They're finished. Dan Slott's not going to bring them back, and the only way they would ever be cool again is if they started out the way they came in.
Well, they're pushing the Inhumans back when they were thinking that they'd have that Inhumans TV show going. And now they're pushing Eternals because the Eternals just had a movie and they're going to probably make more. Mm-hmm. But that being said, this could be good, and Kieran Gillen is a great writer. So
exactly.
we're off to a good start in that regard.
Who's your money on in the early?
I
got mine on the X-Men, dude.
The X-Men are pretty jacked. I mean, if we're talking about like all of the mutants, like a whole nation worth, including several Omega levels, yeah, that's pretty good. And just looking at the ones on the cover here,
they got Storm.
They got Storm and Magneto and Jean Grey, so they already got a pretty stacked lineup. The Avengers got Thor and Captain Marvel and dude. Phoenix.
Yeah, you're right. They do have a fucking Phoenix. But let me say, I think it would be a fun writing, just a fun moment in the book where if the Phoenix Echo runs up to Jean Grey and Jean Grey just laughs in her fucking face, sucks the Phoenix Force out of her and like sends it away.
There's no way they just like
dude, no, they would
her like that.
Well, no, she could get it back later. But,
I guess.
I'm Jean Grey and the Phoenix does what I say, or some shit
that
like
could be interesting.
That would be so fun, dude.
In terms of raw power, I guess they're pretty balanced in that regard.
Yeah.
I don't know enough about the Eternals to know if like
enough of them.
I don't know if Icarus can go toe to toe with Thor. I don't know if he's that level.
And definitely not Thor and Captain Marvel. Oh, they got a Star Brand too, bro.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Star Brand. Arguably the strongest member here. Yeah.
Yeah, the strongest being here.
Yeah, I mean that's a
there's a Celestial in the picture, so
that's a pretty stacked Avengers lineup. When Thor and Captain Marvel are both definitely not the strongest members on the team.
Right. Right. So yeah, I love how it's AXE, so it's Axe. Big fan of that.
That's a good way to do it.
Big fan of that. This is the Free Comic Book Day cover. Obviously, they're going to do a Free Comic Book Day. And just FYI, this will cost you money, even though it's Free Comic Book Day. This is a 1 in 1,000 Peach Momoko variant cover. This might be the most sought after, spec market cover of the year. Peach Momoko sells high, no matter what she's working on, interior or cover. And yeah, this is going to be highly, highly sought after. I would not be surprised if DC comes back with something for their Free Comic Book Day where there's a big, sort of variant by somebody.
I mean, that is a gorgeous cover, to be sure.
Oh, it's so rad. So rad. So yeah, look for Judgment Day. What is this summer? This summer. We'll have more on that, dude. They're going to have so many tie-ins, so many interviews, so many mentions of that in news.
It's their big summer book,
I'm excited. All right, Book of Boba Fett. From the Desert Comes a Stranger. All right. Big reveal, spoiler alert. I'll give everybody 30 seconds to close down if you have not watched Book of Boba Fett. It was huge. Most fans really knew who this guy was, though. So
yeah,
it was a solid episode. It kept the whole Western theme going. Definitely with Cad Bane there was definitely the Western theme. Him doing his thing with Cobb Vanth.
And I was also really glad to see Cobb come back. Like Timothy Oliphant.
Oh, he's not dead either.
I doubt it. I mean, the way they left off with like it being the Stinger and everything. I doubt that he was really dead. Yeah. But I love his character. He was one of my favorites from Mandalorian season 2 there. And by the way, once again we should go ahead and say this was an episode of The Mandalorian.
Exactly. Am I entertained by this series? And by the last
absolutely.
100%. But I am upset at the direction that this show took.
I mean, at this point, you probably should have just made this Mandalorian season 3 and just have Boba Fett be like a side story in all of those episodes.
Exactly. There's this overarching problem of this being Boba Fett's show when he barely shows up, dude.
He did not speak in this episode. He was only on screen for like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
So in the last 2 episodes combined, he has not spoken and he has only barely appeared at all.
This episode had the most fan service of probably any Star Wars thing, single episode, anything ever.
I mean, just
and
like
there was no
fan
service for the title character.
Not at all. But
it was
that being said, like, okay, so compliment sandwiching this though. I really enjoyed it.
Dude, I loved it. I had my jaw on the fucking floor.
Yeah, it was really cool seeing Ahsoka again. It was really cool seeing Luke back and actually doing some training. I love seeing like Master Luke, That's something we've never really gotten to see in live action except on these shows.
Yeah, they fixed their face problem too. He looks great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this on screen right here. Are you kidding me? Just these 2 characters on screen? Are you serious?
Yeah.
This is every Star Wars fan's dream come fucking true. Are you kidding?
And like
awesome.
the whole thing where they're giving like Grogu a choice there, it doesn't feel too contrived. It does feel like it is a legitimate thing. Look, you can go back to your father if you want, but I will go and tell you, you won't be able to train. And if you train, you're not going to be able to go back to him. Like,
what do you think he's going to choose?
Story
wise, I mean, are they the same? Like, okay, story wise, and what you know about the rest of the Star Wars universe? Because obviously, they're not going to. This is not going to be the last time we're going to see this little green.
Yes,
fucker.
So that leads me to think he's going to choose the Beskar, and he's going to be part of the Mandalorian moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, this also explains why he's not there when Kylo Ren and Luke have their little tiff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It explains a lot of things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Disney would rather have the character like be on the show as much as possible.
Are you kidding? We sold 5,000 individual, Grogu pieces of merchandise. Yeah. Now we can sell them with a lightsaber and with Beskar armor. We can do both. Okay.
I mean, that's a cynical way to look at it, but that's probably like a calculation that was being made. I don't think that's
cynical. Star Wars has been all about the merch since 77.
That's absolutely true. That's just something you kind of have to accept if you're gonna, be a Star Wars fan. But
there is a little.
That being said, that'd be cool merch to have. So I'm not even,
sure. Dude, I want my Grogu wearing Beskar armor. Give him a fucking helmet and a backpack too, please. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. I'd like to. They'd have to like make like ear slots for him, I guess, on the Mando helmet.
Right. There's a little angle here. It's a little bit darker. With Chuck Wendig, he is the creator of Cobb Vanth. He did not create him in a comic, even though Chuck Wendig is well-known comic book writer. He wrote a novel called the Aftermath Trilogy. When Lucasfilm was purchased by Disney and they erased the expanded universe, they did still want to establish some of the things from the expanded universe, as well as create new story, new characters, new plots that would sort of tie the old in with what was to become the new. All right. This was called Journey to Star Wars: The Force Awakens. And again, it's part of the Aftermath trilogy. And readers are introduced to, yes, Cobb Vanth, our dreamy cowboy, super hot. So there you go. He was not mentioned. He did not get a credit in the episode. And he mentioned that and was pissed. How fucking hard is it? Everybody gets mentions in these shows, even though they're not contractually, or they're not obligated to do it. They don't technically own these characters. But everybody be getting mentions on the Marvel side, on the Star Wars side. Disney tends to do that, and it kind of sucks that they dropped the ball here. And anytime anything like that comes up, I like to mention it because Cobb Vanth would not exist without this motherfucker. And Cobb Vanth is a badass. I love that guy. He's awesome.
He was really cool.
Timothy Oliphant's hot as hell. I don't care.
I mean, that's undeniable. Yeah, but that does suck, and you're right. It doesn't cost them a thing just to put him in the damn credits somewhere.
Yeah, it costs dude typing for 5 seconds, and that's not a big gripe. I just like to mention it when it comes up and give the creators the spotlight that they deserve.
But as far as like Cad Bane showing up in this episode, though, that was like the whole thing where like you see him like coming in from like the desert. Like you can see the silhouette, and like that's a great way to do it, right? Because like if you have no idea who that is, it's still intimidating. It's still like really good buildup. And if you do know who that is, that hat, you know that silhouette, and it's like, shit,
Exactly, dude. This was my experience with Cad Bane. My wife doesn't really know who Cad Bane is. She watches Star Wars, but she's not like, she doesn't watch all of it. She can't watch that cartoon shit. She just can't do it, right? I get it. But I knew who it was. And I knew who it was as soon as they showed the first silhouette on the horizon. And I was like, oh, shit. And she's like, who's that? I was like, that's going to be Cad Bane. And she's like, who's Cad Bane? And that slow motherfucker took so long to walk into town that I was able to explain like 3 seasons of an animated show to my old lady by the time he got there. So it was a really fun experience. So that's why they made him walk so slow. It gave the informed time to pass along information. So. One more episode left. So
yeah, I mean, maybe we'll get back to some Boba Fett. But I mean, okay.
Dropped the ball.
On the one hand, it's like it feels strange to complain about it because I loved these last 2 episodes.
Yeah,
but
it's almost like they're trolling us.
it does feel out of place for these to be part like for them to take 2 episodes out of what is supposed to be Boba Fett's story to basically have no Boba Fett in them.
Eli over in the Comic Book Bully said, they could have went back to Camino and showed him some moment from his dad, that they had. They could have done so many things. And he's like, and the cool thing is the dude who plays Boba Fett could have played his dad.
That's true.
And I was like, oh, dude, that would have been fucking rad. He's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, well, they didn't do that, bro. And he's pissed. He's a huge Boba Fett fan, and he's enjoying the show, but he's like, fucking, hey, Baby Yoda again? Fuck,
I mean, if you want to do,
cool, but damn.
And I love these episodes. They're cool. I'm really looking forward to Mandalorian season 3. But if you want to do episodes of the Mandalorian, just do that. Don't make it part of Boba Fett.
Thank you.
Although
maybe they'll do
like
Boba Fett season 2.
Maybe years later we'll be able to like binge like Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett, and like it won't be an issue at all.
Yeah, it'll all like run together. Yeah. It'll all feel more concise because we'll get more episodes of Mando and more episodes of Boba Fett. A season 2 of Boba Fett would be amazing. They could focus more on that gangster shit that everybody thought this thing was going to be. And that might be, just traditional Star Wars, teasing you with one thing and giving you something else. But they really dropped the ball here. Even though I'm having a great time, they fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's such a weird thing to say, though, right? Because, like, it is frustrating.
Yeah.
I can definitely see where, like, why are they doing this instead of that? But at the same time, it's hard to really be mad about it because the episodes are good. It's fun. Yeah. I like it a lot.
I don't really like it. It's fucking with my head. Let's do food.
Yummy.
Kind of a dumb one, considering it's like Super Bowl week. Next time we do a show will be I'm pretty sure during the fucking Super Bowl, which is just weird as hell. Tune in then, please, instead of watching football. Ruffles is introducing flaming hot cheddar and sour cream flavored. This is a good one. LeBron James is doing a partnership. You can order those LeBron James ones on snack.com, but the actual Ruffles Flaming Hot Cheddar and Sour Cream is available 8.5 ounce bags for $5 and 2.5 ounce for $2 at all available retailers. I'm excited.
Yeah, this is one of those things where like you see it and you're like, they weren't already doing this.
Yeah,
this seems like a slam dunk.
Low-hanging fruit, for sure, dude. I don't get it. But yeah, I'm looking for my bag. I actually eat my Flaming Hot anything with chopsticks.
Well, that's, I guess, a smart way to do it. You don't have to you don't have to worry about like accidentally touching your eyes or something.
Yeah, it is, Daisy. It's like being lactose intolerant and getting the wrong cake. You know what I mean? It's that kind of bad. The Boba Fett. I'm sure that's what you're talking about.
That would imply that like you got something that you didn't want.
Oh no, I guess.
I agree with all the way she's phrasing it here because like it is something that I wanted, but it's not what I ordered.
Yeah, that cake is delicious, but damn, I would have preferred chocolate. No, you're right. But still. It is very frustrating. It's hard for me to almost, you know what I mean? Because it's like, man, I don't want to like it because it's not what I wanted, but I'm still enjoying because Mando's fucking badass.
Yeah, Mando's the best.
Baby Yoda's awesome.
The Mandalorian TV show
and Ahsoka Bataan were in this episode.
Yeah, like the Mandalorian TV show is arguably the best Star Wars thing that's ever been made, or at least it's up there.
Vader Down is still my favorite Star Wars anything.
Sure. But okay. But, still, though,
you're right.
Like, I'm not mad about getting more of that. That's great. But it's odd way that, like, you're putting these episodes into another character's TV show,
Yeah, it's really odd. So, get your Ruffles at stores. I'm getting those. I eat mine with chopsticks. Again, I have all kinds of... Look at that cool toy.
Oh, that's pretty rad.
Look at that rad-ass toy. Anyway, let's do top 3 because fucking Adam's on here. Just call us, Adam. Let us know what's happening. Thanks for stopping by, Daisy. I appreciate it. Appreciate you coming by and hanging out.
Yeah. We are just fraught with worry over Adam, though.
That is a cool name. Yeah, we really are. I wonder if that's her real name, Daisy Chain. Your parents are...
It seems perfect, so I would say no.
Yeah, no one's got a perfect name. I guess I'll go first. I mean, there are so many honorable mentions I have, dude. Savage Spider-Man was fun as hell. X Lives of Wolverine was, I mean, pretty good. It wasn't terrible. Dark Knights of Steel was solid.
Yeah.
Monkey Prince, very well written, very well drawn. Just not a book for me. It feels more like a young ages.
Like Monkey Prince is, it was pretty good, but like it's one of those things where like they're having to lay a lot of groundwork, and so I feel like I need to give it another issue to really judge whether or not I actually like it. You know,
to me, it felt like it was like a young reader's book.
I can see that.
Feel like it for me. But I like Batman being in it. Like him having PTSD because of Batman. I love
that. Is an interesting perspective, right? Like this guy thinks Batman's a huge asshole because his parents.
He's right. Batman is a huge asshole.
But yeah, his parents though are like apparently super villain contractors or whatever. But
yeah, who knows what they're doing? Yeah, they didn't get really into that either. What their parents are actually into, right?
That's a weird way of phrasing it, but yeah.
But my number 3, One Star Squadron, number 3.
This is actually my number 1 this week.
This was fucking fantastic. Mark Russell and Steve Lieber. What a terrific series. I can just go image by image. I think turning heroes into employees cheapens heroism. That's taken straight out of Marxism. It's not just heroes. Everyone is cheapened when they become employees. Everyone. But what do you do when it's the lie that keeps you alive?
Yeah, stuff with Minuteman continues to be heartbreaking. And I really like that scene because it establishes that, like, Red Tornado is legitimately doing everything he can to help these people, you know? Like, he is talking to this guy like, look, I got you this gig. Look, man, you do still have fans. You need to get off of this drug, but, you know, you still have stuff to go for. But they still fucking hate him. Yeah. Because that's just the nature of like what he has to do, you know? Yeah. Like not everyone can get the damn security jobs, you know?
Yeah.
And so and it's also like we were just looking at Superman there, that board of directors, what a bunch of pieces of shit. You know?
That's to me, that didn't feel like a surprise.
No, not at all. But like,
shit, but
I'm just I'm just more talking about how like Mark Russell really captures like how slimy these guys are, and you knew they were going to be slime balls.
Yes,
you knew these guys were going to be just repulsive. Yes. But he does a great job, like really making you hate them. You know,
but he does so in a great way. Here, I mean, this line right here about the Miracle pills. That's all of us. Again, all of us in society. We're all living a lie. This scene right here. Jack-o'-lantern, I guess his name is.
Yeah.
Goes to save some fishermen.
I assume he's a real DC character, but I don't know who he is.
I don't fucking know.
I mean, that's the nature of like most of the characters in this book, though, right?
Yeah, they're Z-listers, dude. They're not, but he doesn't save the drowning fishermen because he gets a better paying gig. I mean, there's just a lot
for a Halloween party, and that's a great touch, right?
Just perfect writing. And then I mean, this one really grabbed me. I'm just glad I was able to find a place before. Look, to be honest, I'm probably not going to have this job tomorrow. I should go home and tell my wife, but I'm just not ready. Let her imagine that I'm not a failure for one more night. Okay. This idea that our worth is so closely related and tied to our ability to not contribute to society, because we all know that Red Tornado definitely is a hero and definitely contributes to society, but it's our ability to profit for someone else. Again, this whole book
that ties in pretty well with like the whole thing with like the board again, right? They were like their whole like justification what they're doing is because they're profitable, and like I'd like Superman's like, who gives a shit?
So what happens in this issue? Superman gets wind that this is happening, and he's like, "No, I'm shutting it down." And he's shutting it down because of what Jack-o'-lantern did. Ignored those fishermen to go to a party. So Superman was already on the fence. Now he's going to tell the Justice League to remove their endorsement for this app. So we're all thinking Power Girl is going to step in and be the new big bad.
Yeah, that was a good twist.
Very good twist. Because she's been sort of kissing ass to everybody. But Red Tornado has kind of just been that middle management sort of guy. He's not really your friend, but he's in no way your enemy. He wants to see you succeed so that he can succeed.
I don't even know about that. I mean,
caught in the middle there.
We've already seen though that he does legitimately care. I don't think that's a good way to characterize it. Like he's out there with a gangbuster. That he's not getting paid for that.
No,
He's helping him because he cares. So he does care about Minuteman.
Yeah, maybe,
but like,
all right, another like another big leg that Marxism stands on is the way it turns workers against each other.
Yeah.
And that's sort of what's happening here. Everybody writes this letter up to the whatever, and Power Girl kind of entices them all to do this, sort of persuades them all to do this.
Yeah, we saw for the last 2 issues, like her basically just like
sabotaging him.
Yeah, like trying to like cut Red's legs out from under him. But yeah, we get to the board and they fucking love that they all hate Red.
Yeah, it backfires on her. They're like, oh, yes, they all hate you. Now you need to go fire half of them. And, oh, man.
I love the way that played out because, like, it's more tragic this way.
Exactly.
Because
he
now
thought he was going to lose his job.
Yeah, if he had been fired for doing the right thing, that is kind of a more noble exit for him than like, no, you're keeping this job and we're making you the bad guy now.
Exactly. Now he's forced to go fire all these people who, like you said, he legitimately cares about. And and he's got to fire Power Girl. I wouldn't want to fucking piss her off. I'm just saying she's a Kryptonian.
I mean, like, outside of the context of this book, yes, that's suicide. But like within the context of this book, you feel like she kind of has it coming, but even she like seemed to show like a little bit of remorse for what she thought she was doing.
She seemed to a little bit, but
not much.
Still wanting to climb the ladder. I'm hoping because I mean, shit, this is only issue 3 of what 6 issues.
Let me check. We're halfway through it now. There's 6 issues.
So I'm expecting a Power Girl issue that totally like focuses on breaking the glass ceiling and the terrible shit. You've got to be even worse to overcome the many more obstacles that are put in your way just because you're a woman. I'm really hoping Russell, because he's already gone this far in, dude.
I don't doubt it. I think
you got to go even further.
Yeah, I'm looking forward.
We're
only halfway through. We haven't even reached the climax of this yet.
I mean, this is 2 issues, and I'm just emotional. Like, oh my god, dude, we've all been there. Where you lose your job and you just feel fucking worthless, and oh, it's terrible. It's terrible. Well, maybe not everybody, but I know I have. I know I've been there, dude. So yeah, great book, great issue. Go ahead. Honorable mentions and number 3.
All right. Honorable mention for Savage Spider-Man. Not much is happening in this issue, but we've got a lot of really cool artwork. It's got that cool dynamic action that like nonstop Spider-Man had.
Yeah, it even played off that by like having the nonstop cross out. It's a direct sequel, basically.
Yes, this picks up exactly where that left off. Honorable mention for Batman number 120.
Not bad.
It's fun. It's nice being able to read like a Batman book that I feel like above neutral about, which I guess is not a really cool thing to say about it, but
I'll be honest, the solicits for Batman ruined fucking Batman. We knew that Lex and Batman were going to eventually team up, so that kind of led you to, well, if they're going to team up, then
I suppose
Batman Inc. has to kind of be in on what Abyss is doing. You know what I mean?
I suppose, but
it wasn't all together there, but it really wasn't a surprise to me when I finished the issue. Still amazing art, and you're right. The story is refreshing compared to what Tynion was doing, unfortunately.
It did have that frustrating quality where like all the members of Batman Inc., instead of taking 5 fucking seconds just to tell Batman what's going on, they're like, Batman, get out of here. It would have taken less time for you to just explain the fucking situation, El Gaucho. Fuck you.
I am anxious to see Lex and Bruce team up, though. I think that was going to be a good time.
That could be fun, yeah.
Yeah.
Honorable mention for Fantastic Four Reckoning War. I like what they're kind of setting up here.
I didn't even read that. I totally skipped that this week. I need to go back and check that
If you haven't been reading Slott's run on this, and honestly reading his run on Silver Surfer from back in the day, you probably won't get as much out of this. But hey, see, Silver Surfer was good shit.
His Silver Surfer was pretty good.
You should go back and read that anyway. But
it was good.
My number 3 is going to be Dark Knights of Steel.
Okay. I think I have the cover for that.
Yeah, it's got a Harley getting her Bard action on here.
Beautiful. Did you get that cover?
I did, yeah.
Good for you. Good for you, man. Awesome.
But yeah, I mean, I love all the Game of Thrones intrigue stuff. I love kind of getting the background that they've been withholding it from us from a few issues now, where we see like how the elves got set up, how they became a king and queen. I really like the way they treated like Luther in this one. I like the whole exchange. There was like, I consulted the stars, and like the elves were like, you looked at a bunch of gas balls in space. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah.
But yeah. This is consistently a lot of fun.
It is.
It's one of those. we were talking earlier about the Jurassic League there, about how like these kind of silly ideas can be really hit or miss. And I think this one is definitely a hit, you know?
Oh, this one's for sure a hit. I don't even think it's a silly idea. If I would have heard anybody pitch, it's Game of Thrones, but with DC characters, that's a win. I don't know an editor alive who would be like, oh, no, we're not doing that.
Well,
I
it
mean,
only
pitch,
helps that you got
perfect.
Tom Taylor at the wheel here, right?
Yeah.
Good shit.
Tom Taylor, Bengal did the art on this.
And that's consistently really good as well.
They've had different artists on several of these issues, but it still
it
works
remains
out
consistently really good.
Oh yeah, without a doubt. It was solid, but it was a typical filler sort of issue. Yes, it did give us some background. I'm not sure that is background that is going to be necessarily important to anything going on. But yeah, it was definitely a little bit more filler than I wanted. But yeah, you're right. Tom Taylor never writes anything bad.
Yeah, he's got a really high floor, you know?
Yeah, for sure. That's to me, number 2 for me is you got to get caught up on this book, Taylor. Crossover number 11, Donny Cates and Jeff Shaw. Okay, this book was the equivalent of that time in the movie Spaceballs where they're watching the movie Spaceballs. Remember that?
Well, that's fun.
Donny Cates is writing this book, but he's also written himself into the book. The main gist of this story is a portal opened and comic book characters started falling out of this portal and battling in the real world. And this is years later, and there have been cameos from all kinds of Image characters. There have been cameos from Marvel and DC characters, although not quote unquote official.
You see like Spider-Man's hand and stuff.
Yeah, you see like the whatever on.
Yeah, you showed that like it was basically like they were lifting that scene from Spawn.
Yeah. But it turns out that it appears that the whole reason that the events of Crossover are taking place is because Donny Cates wrote the book Crossover in that universe.
Man,
but it's a book in our universe too.
That's some interesting meta there.
It's wildly meta, dude, but it is a whole lot of fun. It's wild, dude. I really think you should try to get caught up on this, man. I really think you would like it just for that angle, you know.
I'll check it out when it's like completely collected.
Yeah, just for that angle. The big reveal here was Negan, of course. So
Negan's cool, but like he's just a dude with a baseball bat.
Well, he's very well known too.
That's true. That's cool that they're using him and everything, but like it's not like one of those things like if fucking like Galactus showed up, like, oh shit, we're screwed.
But if like had like a shadowy, it was either a Galactus or a Celestial, like a shadowy figure at one point in the book. Like
but like if Negan shows up, like it's not like, oh shit, we might as well give up now, guys. What are we gonna do against Negan?
Sure.
You know?
But it's a wild book, dude. Like I told you the one, like the Chip Zdarsky one. At one point, Chip Zdarsky worked on a book where he was written into the book as a character. And the character from that book was hunting him down to save his life. And they
actually did read that one.
Oh, dude, they have this wild moment. It's getting more into that. It's leaning so hard into that now. It's even getting to the point where the character of Donny Cates in the book claims that he knows more than the Donny Cates who's actually writing the book. It's almost like breaking the fourth wall almost, but just in the most subtle way, because there's actually a new character in this book who is the hero, Ellipsis, who is like, this book is supposed to be about her. And she's arguing with Donny Cates in the book and said, no, this book isn't about you. It's about me. And it's like, what the fuck is going on? Yeah, it's wild, dude. You should really check it out. He's doing a lot of crazy things. I don't think it's going to get the appreciation that it might deserve because it kind of feels like it's up its own ass a little bit. You know what I mean? But it's hard not to.
It does seem like it's really up its own ass, but that's not always a bad thing.
But that's like the crux. That's like the theme of the book. You know,
sometimes the journey up.
Yeah,
sometimes the journey up the author's ass can still be worthwhile.
All right, you're number 2.
My number 2 is X Lives of Wolverine number 2.
Nice.
They're really starting to piece together what the fuck is actually going on. So that's really fun to see.
Yeah.
But it's really cool seeing Wolverine. And this time, instead of just him sticking around to Xavier's birth scene, we get to see him whipping all over the place. We get to see Teen Wolverine. We get to see Weapon X Wolverine. We get to see Wolverine with his wife in Japan. It's a really cool trip through memory lane. We were talking about this with the first issue, right?
Yeah.
Or maybe more so with the X Deaths of Wolverine. It's really cool to see this character who has lived in all these different eras and lived all these different lives, them really taking advantage of that with this story. I really liked Wolverine's whole thing where like Jean's telling him, hey, you got to go through like, miles and miles of frozen hellscape in order to get to where you need to go. And it's like, oh, well, good thing I'm a dipshit teenager who thinks he's invincible. But
yeah.
And the artwork is really great throughout. Like every time,
Joshua
like
Cassara kills it on the
art. Like especially that fight scene between him and Omega Red when Omega like takes over his wife, who was just like he wanted to like
sort of spooning together.
Yeah, and he wanted to like dwell in the moment, but then fucking Omega Red, and
I got tentacles.
Yeah, and it's also kind of cool seeing Wolverine like trying to take advantage of like a chance to change his worst mistakes, like when he was with Weapon X there.
I hate that part of it.
I liked it.
I hate the idea that because Jean has already warned him once, quit fucking changing the past, dumbass. And it's weird that they're only jumping to that, or they're jumping to that so soon in issue number 2.
Is that a smart thing for him to do? No, but this is...
I mean, I understand.
It makes sense for the character, right? This is a character who is in large part defined by regret, right? And this is an opportunity he has to actually do something about one of his greatest regrets.
Oh, man, that's not a good idea, Logan. Do not.
No, it's not. But I think that it's a cool turn for the character. He has not
learned any lessons. No, you're right, and it is fun seeing him leap all around and everything. But it feels like it's becoming another Sabretooth versus Wolverine matchup in the past, and I've already seen that. I am curious to see what sort of spin Ben Percy does.
I mean, I'm sure we're going to get like Omega Red Sabretooth whenever that does come up.
Some news about Ben Percy, because I figured we'd talk about this book. It was recently announced, he's one of the writers for the Urban Cowboy adaptation that's going to be on Peacock, I think. Remember Urban Cowboy? With
Not really, actually.
John Travolta.
I don't think I've ever seen that one, no.
It's like a country music video, but it's like in a movie form. It's all a bunch of music and them hanging out and them, breaking up and them cheating on each other and then them getting back together. That's the movie. But it was like really
not
hardcore.
Selling it super well.
It was like really hardcore 80s country. That's the only selling point. It was hardcore 1980s country, but they're redoing it. And Ben fucking Percy's writing on it. I'm sorry. I just think that's the funniest shit. I was going to write something smart ass on this Facebook comment. Like, dude, are you really listening to country music? I mean, what? Is Logan listening to country whenever he's turning off the radio?
I mean, I feel like Wolverine would listen to country music.
Yeah, but old country, like 60s.
Yeah,
70s.
like all like Merle Haggard stuff.
Yeah, dude. Willie, Waylon, Chris Christopherson, Johnny Cash. Let's move on.
Yeah.
My number one book, Victor Lavallee, Leonard Kirk, Sabretooth #1. It's a fantastic debut that is setting up. I have no fucking clue, but that doesn't matter. Beautifully drawn, some great design work throughout. But basically, Sabretooth got thrown in a pit, which is hell, right? Which is what? Krakoa's belly, Krakoa's whatever. Taylor, did you read this?
I did not read this, so I'm actually curious. How did he get out?
How would you imagine he's in Krakoa's belly? Who is going to take pity on Sabretooth and has the power to do something about it?
Did fucking Cypher let him out?
Doug let him out.
Doug, you fucking idiot.
Doug did not technically let him out. What Doug did, instead of him being immobile and him having, in a thought, all he's got is his thoughts, can't move, can't see nothing. He sort of gave him the ability to have his wildest dreams. So here he is ripping off Cyclops' face and using it to kill the rest of the X-Men. And then him and Doug sort of have this meeting, but Doug can't die. Doug is just sort of using Krakoa to speak through Sabretooth's like own psyche. It was very well done because of course Sabretooth murders him and then he's just the head talking. And he's like, dude, we've had this discussion like 4 or 5 times, and you say this every time. Can we just get on with it? So then he tells him, all right, I'm going to make it so that you, because what he was doing was he was letting Sabretooth have all these great wild fantasies and then having him forget that he had those fantasies so he could do them all again. So they had this meeting and Sabretooth is like, well, that's torture. I want to remember it all. So then we see him go on like this big tour of the Marvel Universe, just killing everybody.
That's easy to forget is that that was actually where Sabretooth made his premiere, was in against Iron Fist.
That's right. That's why I pulled this panel specifically, because I was like, yes, finally he gets some revenge there. But eventually he becomes like King Conan, right? And he has his own sort of Conan adventure. He even has like a Spelljammer space adventure, right?
Starjammers.
What did I say?
Spelljammers.
Oh, Starjammers. Spelljammers is something else completely different and totally cooler than the Starjammers. It's Dungeons and Dragons in space. But yeah, he had his own little Starjammer thing. But then he sort of gets bored with it. And then one day, these 5 motherfuckers show up. This is like the second to last page. And then, I mean, but this is the design work. Like, this is him. The way he says it, yeah, I'm in prison. Doug made it so that in his thoughts, I would be living in my own personal heaven, but really I'm living in my own personal hell. And I just thought that was so poignant, so fun. It had this great take on prison and stuck in your own brain. It was really fucking cool and cerebral. I had such a great time with it. But the main reason I chose him as number 1 is it totally surprised me. I had no idea where it was going when it started. And then, I mean, I didn't think this was possible. By the end of the book, when these fuckers show up, I have no idea where it's going. How are they even there? So, yeah, great issue, great start to this series. I've been waiting for this a while, and it paid off. Leave it to Doug, man, to do what he does best. You know what I mean? He's really the one in charge.
Doug is like consistently showing up. Like all these like people are playing like 4D chess, and then Doug just comes in and flips over the fucking table whenever he wants to.
Yeah, he's wild, dude. And he's got the best friends, dude.
It's a cool angle. Yeah, I mean he's personally has like almost no power, but he has
talk really well.
But like he's got Warlock on him at all times. His other BFF is the most powerful mutant around, the one they fucking live on.
Yeah.
And he's married to like the ultimate bodyguard. So yeah, he is like, I wonder if that's something they're going to play with. Like he's really low key building an amazing power base around him, you know?
I'm hoping that that's where this ends. Where this is all Doug and Krakoa and maybe even Bay and of course Warlock all sort of trying to rehabilitate Sabretooth, because Doug really knows what's going on now. He knows how sinister everything fucking is. He knows it's only a matter of time before everything breaks down, and then it's going to have to be who's on my side. And having Sabretooth on your side, especially, I'm not going to say completely rehabilitated. You know, there's no way.
I mean, Sabretooth is one of those like irredeemable characters.
He's a killer. Yeah. Remember that time they tried to rehabilitate him and he was just the worst?
Well, I mean, that was like some shenanigans there. Like that was like the inversion or whatever it was, where like good people turned evil and evil people
Hail
turned
Hydra,
good.
Captain America.
Well, like they also did like Superior Iron Man and
that was actually really good. Tom Taylor, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's Tom Taylor, so it was good.
That was fantastic. But yeah, I really had a great time with this Sabretooth book, and I was really interested to see where this book was going to go, and I don't know where it's going to go, but I was just completely 100% entertained the whole time reading it, and by the end of the book, I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens next. I still don't know where this book is going, but I can't wait to see what happens next. It's weird. But yeah, that's my number 1. And I think you already mentioned your number 1 this week.
Yeah, my number 1 was One Star Squadron, number 3.
What the hell, did I already delete those? Oh, no,
you
there it is.
Fool.
There it is. Well. Yeah, this was a fantastic book, only halfway through. I'm very excited to see where... I mean, we know where it's going to go. It's not going to go anywhere. This is not continuity. This has nothing to do with anything going on. I want to see the rest of this theme. It's like a thread, and Russell is just pulling on this thread and seeing how far he can go down the gig work and capitalism and human rights and equal rights and his socially relevant, critiques. He's perfect on this. Yeah, this is in the same realm as his Flintstones, same realm as his was that Exit Stage Left. yeah, just a great book. So yeah, it was a solid, bunch of shit this week. Bunch of more stuff coming out next week. We're going to talk about that tomorrow. But thanks everybody for hanging out. We really appreciate it. Keep coming back. Like I said, we got a show tomorrow. The Bullies are going to be here tonight to do their show. Come and check that out with Leroy and Eli. If you want links to all of that stuff that we've got going on, go to outrightgeekery.com. We got links to the Bully shit, our shit, all kinds of social media and all kinds of links like that. Patreon, merch, you name it, we got it. Again, come back tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about all the previews coming out. And again, thanks everybody for hanging out. But most of all, thanks to this Joker for hanging out with this guy. I'll do Ted Lasso again.
Hell yeah.
Really well.
Love that Ted Lasso shit.
We are going to do it again next time.
Same geek time, same geek channel.
Man, there's some solid books this week. I can believe you didn't get favorite two. You can get favorite two. I can't complain.
I mean, there's like a lot of solid, like, A-, B+